Welcome back to another minimalistic tutorial. Since I got so many requests how I created the last drawer, I thought let's do a tutorial. So for that one I used my own brushes. I created a brush for the rower and also for the reflections. You can buy those brushes on my website. So let's get started. I created a new file, 4000 to 5000 pixels, 4 in the width and 5 in the height for Instagram. So first of all, we're gonna do a solid color layer. And for that one, I take a color. I saved one, it's this blue, 11171E. It's a very dark and slightly desaturated blue. So now we can delete the white background because we don't need it anymore. Now we do a gradient on top of this, and to figure out where we want to have it, I take the crop tool and I don't want this spiral. I will go up here and take this grid. And for that, I want this line. So I take a line here, but you don't want to crop it, so hit no. And from here, I make a selection. I take the selection tool, and now we take a gradient. I have a gradient here. We just figure out where we want to have it, and I will change slightly the color here. I take the one I just used, it's a bit another one, and hit OK. Hit OK, hit OK. That's fine. And now we invert the selection here, the mask. So we click on Control, click on the mask and say Control Shift I to invert, and take the same gradient again. So let's take the gradient. If you want, you can just save the other one we just made. I just correct the color here, and I'm not in the field here, so I just want to correct the color here. Again, hit OK, but now, of course, we need to flip that. That means we just change the direction. That's why I did it. So hit OK. Now we want here, at the horizon's place, we want to have it more white. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the selection tool again and take about that size. We will figure out if that works. So let's see if that is okay. Then we go to our gradient tool, but this time we need to have white to 0. So to make it easy, I go back here, I press D on my keyboard because we get back to the default. Then I hit X on my keyboard, I get white in the foreground, and I just do it again. So now I have it white, and now we want to change direction like so, and we hit OK. So now we need to figure out how much we want it. I still see that we need a bit more, so I just select a bit more, go to my mask and take white in the foreground color and hit Alt on my keyboard and delete, so that we get it white here. So that means it's visible. Control D to deselect. So we see there is a little bit a very heavy border. So what we do, we double click on that one and just move that a bit up until it's gone. And if you think it's still not fine, we can change later. So because now we leave it because we add in some reflections. So we move that up, and I still think this gradient here needs to be a bit darker. So that's what we're gonna do. And also here at the end maybe. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do a reflecting gradient of black. So we go back to our default color, black to white. Black in the foreground color at the moment, we make a gradient. Black is correct, but not linear, so reflected, and we now have to exchange here. So, and we slightly scale it to get that darkness, but not too much. We might change it later, but it's okay, like so. So we hit OK. And now we want to make the reflections. So I created brushes for that, a bunch of, I'm going to show you that. So I go to my brush tool and I go to my water reflections. So here I made 9 reflection brushes. You can buy those as a packet on my website. So for this one and for this creation, I take this one. And of course, we need to go to a new layer. We add a new layer. We make sure that we have white in the foreground color and approximately the middle, and hit that water reflection. Of course, this looks kind of weird, but what we're going to do, we convert that to a smart object, go to filter, and then we go to motion blur, and we hit that to the top, right? See, 2000, that's fine. And if you think it's too harsh, you might add a bit of a motion blur. Let's see how that works. Of course, this is too much here, so we go back here. I think that is fine. Since it's a smart object, we can change it later. So now it's time to add a bit more of reflection. We just call that reflection big. And we add another layer, call it reflection small. Because we take another brush. For that one, we might take that one, I guess. Let's take that one, make it a bit smaller, like so. And we do the same, convert to smart object, and we add a motion blur. Like so. And now, since the transition is a bit harsh here, we add here at the reflection small a mask, and we take the gradient here under the eyedropper and just smoothen that a bit out, you know. Oh, we have white in the foreground color, make sure you have black, and we just smoothen that a bit out. Let's see how that works. I think it's still a bit. Ah, that's cool. So if you still think it needs a bit of more shine here, we can add that at the last. So now we need to make sure that our reflection is not going into the background. That's why we select this layer here, this mask, because we have here the background only because it's white. I click Control on my keyboard and hit that mask, so I have it in my, I have the selection here. And now we go to the water reflection, or the water layer, water reflection layer, and on the mask we have black in the foreground color. Hit Alt on my keyboard and delete, just to make sure that we have it not in the background. So here we don't have a mask yet, so that's why we make a negative mask by holding Alt and go on the mask. So we are super sure now that we don't have these reflections going into the background. So now it's time to add our roller. Also for the roller, I made brushes. You can buy them also as a pack on my website. I have here made 3 different brushes, and you can select then the one you might like most. So I take a new layer, I call it roller, and we go to our roller. So this is the first one. Yes, we take black in the foreground color. I might change it a little bit to the bluish tone, but let's see how black works. This is black, and we add it just here. If you can figure out that where the middle is, just take here to the middle point, so you're sure have it to the middle, and we add here the roller. Now we can put it away. We don't need that one anymore. So this is the first one. So let's do another one, so we can choose the one we like most at the final end. I just grab that again, so we have it all at the same position. This is another one. You might make it a bit bigger, no problem. I leave it for a moment. We can change later if we want. And the third one, I keep that as a reference. And I have the one here as well. So we can select the one we like most. I think it's quite small, very small. So I like that one as well. And we do this one a bit bigger. Control T for on this one. And if you hold Alt, it goes to all directions at the same time. Hit OK. And the third one, Control T. We do the same. I think it should be a bit bigger, like so. I think I might go with that one. I really like that one as well. So it's already time to add our moon. And it's not the first time if you're following my tutorials. Let's change that to rower 3. And here we have a rower 2. And adding a moon, we want the moon here on this layer. So if you hit that and you have that icon ticked here, it selects automatically the layer you select here in the layer panel. But if you add something on top like gradients or adjustment layers, they are probably not only adjustment layers, not real layers. It's gonna be select those ones. So those you need to be secured and not selected. Make sure you hit this lock here. So I take our moon layer. So because I want to have it on under the reflection actually, but if you're not sure, you can change it later. But I do it up here. So I make a new layer. I say moon, call it moon. Then you go to our moon brushes. You can download many different moons on Brush Easy. So let's see how this one works. I like that one. Sometimes they look really weird. Not the kind that what I really want. And we try to see how it works with white, but sometimes the moon needs to have like a bluish tone. But for this one it works. But I don't like the moon brush. I don't like that one actually. Let me see how this. I think that one is better. I'm gonna take that one. And if you are not sure where to place, if from your feeling, sometimes you feel it where to place object that looks great. If you are not sure, just take this cropping tool and see where these lines are. So for that one, we might place it here. So let's gonna take that line on down here. No, we don't want to crop. Then we go back to our brush and we just figure out the middle. Let's see if that works. And we make our stamp here. Yeah, that works. V on your keyboard. So you have the selection tool. So we can move those away. You might add a bit of a halo around it if you want. And at the final end, we might add also a little vignette. For that I have our Pro panel because it's super fast. I think I'm gonna make a custom vignette. It also has, the Pro panel has presets for vignettes. So you can have that vignette here, or the custom vignette is now here. So I take the custom vignette and I want to make it a bit darker at the ends, but it's kind of too much. So let's just put that a bit down, like so. And if you don't think soft light is well, you also can take normal. I think it's still a bit heavy. Yeah, like so. Because we can adjust those, you know, when we go to this layer, because it's getting a bit quite very dark down here. So we go to this layer, you know, you see now when we select here, we get this custom vignette, so we don't want that. So we're gonna lock this. So now on this layer, and we might change that a bit up, or we might reduce just the opacity a bit. That's coming good, really cool, super. Yeah, that's how it works. And if you still think these reflections are not visible enough, just duplicate the layer. I would really love to see what you create. Thanks for watching.